Good morning. Hello. Happy Tuesday. What a beautiful morning it is. Um, it's lovely to be back. If you have a bolster or some pillows or cushions, it'd be great to grab those for one of the poses or a couple of the poses today. But don't worry if you don't have any props or you prefer not to. And I thought we might start in a seated position this morning, but of course, if you prefer to lie down, that's absolutely fine. So just feel free to grab bolster, cushions, pillows if you would like to, and also any support you need to sit comfortably. You might even like to sit on a chair for the first part of the practice. And we'll just start with a few slow breaths in through the nose and perhaps sighing the breath out through the mouth. So just taking these first few moments to settle in, get comfortable, sighing the breath away as we dwell in the place between no longer and not yet. Might like to close the eyes or just have a soft downward glance as you begin to draw your attention inward and note how you are feeling. So note what you have brought with you to the mat this morning. What does your body have to tell you this morning? What does your heart have to tell you? You might like to say to yourself, I love you and I am listening. I love you and I am listening. Lightly meet whatever appears, touching it with your warm, curious attention, without needing to change or understand or transform what you notice. Acknowledging to yourself that this attention you offer yourself is love itself. I love you and I am listening. Rejecting no part of your current experience. Welcoming all, accepting all. We're going to begin and end our session together this morning with meditation, each about 5 or so minutes in length. So please make sure now that your spine is nice and long and tall, your shoulders are soft, skin of the face is soft, perhaps your hands in a favorite mudra position. And then I invite you to picture yourself in a beautiful outdoor setting on a warm, sunny day. You can hear birds, a gentle breeze, a little bit of wind, and the sound of gently flowing water close by. You decide to walk toward the water. and soon find a person sitting in meditation on the banks of a river. Take a good look at this person. You're trying not to bother this person, but after a short time, they sense your presence, open their eyes, and motion for you to sit down next to them. Time stops. Everything you have been anticipating appears to be coming to fruition in this moment. The universe disappears. Only this person's eyes exist. You feel as if you were naked before their glance. A flow of love, wisdom, consciousness now passes between you. Perhaps a few words are said, words you take away and think upon again and again and again in the years to follow. Or perhaps this person says nothing, and it is just their stillness, their presence, the incredible love that flows from them to you, the deep compassion you feel. This person sees through you. They know you, past, present, future. There is no judgment. It's amazing how even a moment of such compassion can be so liberating. Now, as you allow this vision to dissolve in your mind's eye, take some time to acknowledge that this beautiful, peaceful person sitting on the bank of the river meditating is you, and that you possess this incredible presence, stillness, love, wisdom within yourself. So throughout the practice this morning, the invitation is to keep dropping into your heart again and again and again, perhaps visualizing this peaceful person meditating as a symbol of your true divine self. You might like to now rest your hands over your heart. Take a few conscious breaths into and out of your heart. And this morning we're going to weave in the Sanskrit chant Ma Aham, which represents our, or can be translated as acknowledgement of our transcendent self, our true divine self, consciousness itself. So if you'd like to join in with me, we'll chant this now 5 times, just keeping the hands over the heart, or you might just listen or chant silently to yourself. Exhaling all breath. Breathing in. Ma aham. Ma aham. Ma aham. Ma aham. Last one. Ma aham. You might like to gently bow your head down towards your heart. Releasing the hands down. And we're going to move straight into a seated bird. So if you are lying down, you might like to just very slowly make your way up into a seated position. I'll come back to meet you now on my mat. I apologize for that loud door banging during the meditation. That was my son coming back into the house. Apologies. All right. So seated bird, feel free to sit on some support if you'd like it. You can have the legs crossed or in a diamond shape if that feels better for you this morning. Hands are resting lightly on our knees. So as we exhale, we round the back as we drop the head. And as we breathe in, chest moves forward, shoulders back. Let's keep the face soft. So exhale, we round. Inhale, chest forward, shoulders back. Exhaling round. Find a rhythm with your breath that works for you this morning, linking your movement with your breath. Just noticing how your back, your spine are feeling this morning, vertebrae through the neck, without attaching a judgment. Just being curious, noticing, watching, observing. If you'd like to, we can bring our fingers onto the tips of the shoulders, taking the elbows back as we inhale and seeing if you can touch the elbows as you exhale. And then we can take the arms wide like we're a beautiful bird flying through the sky. And then the next time your palms come to touch, just pause there, interlacing your fingers, turn the palms away. Inhale, stretching the arms above the head. And as we exhale, we're going to turn into a twist to the left. So it can be an open twist with the right hand to the inner edge of the right knee, or a closed twist, hand to the outside of the left knee. Head moves last, and we're holding this twist. Trying not to lean back into that left hand. So we want to try and keep that spine nice and tall and upright. Some of you might like to wrap that left arm around your back, reaching for the right thigh. Tuck the chin in a little. Perhaps a gentle smile on your lips, and breathe. Good. And then float your arms out to the side, and let's twist to the right. Open or close twist. Right hand on the floor behind you, or perhaps wrapping that arm around the back, reaching for your left thigh. Tuck the chin in a little. Sides of the mouth turned up slightly, and breathe. Good. And gently come back to center. Let's stretch the legs out now. So we're into Dandasana, our foundation seated pose. We're just going to point and flex the feet. And then just start to circle the feet. You might also like to take the hands up and circle your wrists at the same time. Nice, slow circles. And reverse. Good, and release. I thought we'd have a go at table this morning, working dynamically. Those of you who aren't the greatest fan of table, feel free to lie down now and work with bridge instead. So otherwise, we're going to take the hands behind, bring the feet in close to the buttocks, so feet in hip width apart. Try not to round the back here like this and let the shoulders come forward. So already we try to move into a bit of a back bend even while we're seated. So rolling the shoulders back, chest lifting. And as we inhale, we're going to slowly start to lift up. Any neck issues, looking along the body, otherwise you might look up towards the sky. And as we exhale, we lower down. Again, we're synchronizing our movement with our breath, inhaling as we lift, and exhaling as we lower. You might also be visualizing this practice. Breathing in and breathing out. Keep going. Again, find a rhythm, a pace that works for you this morning. Listening to your body. I love you and I am listening. And we'll do a few more, but you have the option on the next lift to hold the pose if you prefer. And then we'll slowly come down, release the hands. If you're working with bridge, just rocking from side to side, and then you can come back up to sit once again. All right, so we'll have a go at boat Navasana just once this morning, and then we'll work with a variation for our strengthen our core. But this first one, I thought we might hold on to the opposite wrist underneath our knee. So draw the knees in, but again, watch the tendency for the back to round and see if you can draw the chest towards your knees. When you're ready, slowly starting to lean back and seeing if we can lift those toes off the mat. Now you might just stay here and breathe. If you can, bring those legs up so that the shins are parallel to the floor. You might like to try pointing the toes this morning, or dorsal flexing the feet, inner edge of the big toes touching. So you're pushing out through the balls of the feet. See if you can spread your toes. Can you see a bit of space between each toe? So just play around with pointing or dorsiflexing the feet. See what feels good for you this morning. Again, perhaps a gentle smile on our lips. Gaze of the eyes are soft, not harsh, not straining the eye muscles. And of course, you know when you've had enough just to lower the feet down and take a rest. All right, so our variation, I think you've all done this with me before, but feel free to have a look if you're not sure. We're crossing one ankle over the other, hands behind us. As we inhale, we see if we can straighten the legs. As we exhale, we draw in. So 4 more, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And last one. Now you can have a rest and cross the ankles, or some of you, if you've got a bit more energy this morning, might like to take the legs out, cross them over. Inhale, exhale, draw in. So 4 more. Last one. And again, take a rest. Perhaps sighing the breath away. And then taking the hands behind, so feet hip width apart, swinging the legs over to one side, head looks over the opposite shoulder, back to center to the other side. So again, find a rhythm, a pace that works for you this morning. You can keep it nice and slow, or you might speed it up. One more to each side. And back to center and release. Let's swing ourselves around now and come into extended child. And we're going to connect back with our Sanskrit chant this morning, Ma Aham. So just exhaling all breath. And then we'll inhale up into cat and chanting back. Ma Aham. Breathing in Ma, hum. Let's do 3 more. Ma, hum. Ma, hum. Last one. Hum. Take a breath. Inhale, coming up onto all fours, tuck your toes into down first dog pose. You might like to bend one leg and then the other, or just holding dog. Fingers spread wide, middle fingers pointing straight ahead. Find your breath, long, smooth inhalation and long, smooth exhalation. If you'd like to add a lateral stretch here, just swiveling the feet to one side. 2 or 3 breaths there. And then swiveling the feet the opposite way, 2 or 3 breaths. Just lowering the knees and into child. And we'll just take a rest. If you'd like to, we'll come onto the crown of the head, interlacing the fingers and lifting the arms up and overhead. Otherwise, just in any version of child pose that feels good for you this morning. Good. Lowering the hands, come back into child for a breath or 2. And then we'll move into inchworm pose. So taking the arms forward, seeing if we can bring the armpits and the chest down towards the mat. So buttocks are in the air. Your forehead or chin can be on the mat. And breathe. And then from here, we're just going to slide along the floor and come down, resting one hand on top of the other, your chin or your forehead on your hands, resting here for a breath or 2. Good. And then we're coming into Makarasana, crocodile pose. So your feet are hip width or even wider apart. Palms of the hands together, pressing down into your forearms. Now we're going to stay here for a minute or so, but please feel free to come down early if that's better for you this morning. Eyes can be open or closed. You might like to direct your gaze down towards your heart center. Perhaps visualizing the image of the person meditating on the bank of the river, a symbol of Atman, your true self, divine self. Sending a smile down to that image. If you're someone who likes to get out pencils or crayons, if you're quite arty, you might even like to, after the session this morning, draw a little picture of that scene, the river out in nature with the person sitting by the river, just as a visual reminder for you. Put it somewhere special so you can look at it regularly this week, a reminder of your true essential self, full of love, wisdom, compassion, peace. Allowing the breath to flow. And if you're still in crocodile, let's all now make our way down to the floor. If the lower back's a bit tender, you might bend the lower legs and just swing them from side to side. And then bring your hands alongside your chest, forehead down, elbows in. Inhale, lift, bend the legs, and back into extended charge. You can even make fists with the hands and give the lower back a little bit of a rub if it feels a bit tender. So from here, we're going to work with a few flowing movements coming through a baby cobra and back into child. So we're looking along the mat as we inhale, scoop down, lift up, bend the legs and back. So just in your own time, in your own way, inhale, exhale. Again, we're linking movement with breath. Let's try two more. Good. And when you finish this one, just sliding your fingers towards you, uncurling your spine. And just bring your hands over the heart space, softening your shoulders, soften the skin of the face. Take a couple of breaths. You might be in a high kneel if that's better for you, otherwise, as I am, in a low kneel. Okay, we're going to work with some kneeling salutes now. And we're going to add our half camel variation at the beginning. So again, I think you've all done this with me, but feel free to watch if you're not quite sure. On our last exhalation of the sequence, if you'd like to join with me, we'll chant Ma Aham, and then we will pause for a breath in between each round. So just slowing it down a little bit this morning. So let's exhale all breath. Slipping one hand to the lower back as we inhale and raise the other arm up, looking forward or up if that's okay for your neck. Exhale. Swap the hands over, breathe in. Breathe out. Now both hands. And coming forward. Inhale, cat, tuck your toes, down face dog pose. Back into cat and child. So now coming through into cobra and back. Inhale. So we're chanting. Ma aham. Taking a breath. And again. Inhale. One arm up. Exhale. Swap the hands over. Both arms. In down fist up pose. Back into cat. Through into cobra. And back. Ma aham. Ma aham. I'm going to do two more. Ma aham. That's fine. La, hum. From here, just with your fingertips, tapping now lightly over the chest. And then resting both hands over the heart. Once again, relax your shoulders, soften the face, perhaps the sides of the mouth turned up slightly. And saying to yourselves again, I love you and I am listening. I love you and I'm listening. Gently release the hands down. Come up onto your knees. You can pop some padding under the left knee if you'd like to. Stepping the right leg forward. Do a little bit of lunging. So hands onto this right thigh. Breathing in. And as we breathe out, we're lunging forward. Inhale back to center. Exhale forward. 3 more of these. Holding here for 2 or 3 breaths. And then we'll slowly come back to center and move into a bit of a stretch for the back of the legs. So curling the toes back towards you. Hands can stay on the thigh or perhaps come down to the floor as you lean forward and breathe. Good. And then come up and hands can go back here. You can lunge forward. If you'd like to take this a little bit further, we'll see if we can bend that left leg. And if we're feeling steady enough, reach back and hold on to the foot. You might have a hand on a chair or on a wall. If you can, you're drawing that heel towards the buttock, breathing into the heart space. And gently release that foot down and we'll swap over. So some padding for that right knee if you'd like it. Left leg forward, hands onto the thigh, breathing in and lunging forward. To center and forward. 3 more. Holding for 2 or 3 breaths. Soft shoulders. Good, and then slowly come back to center and we're straightening that left leg as we lean forward, hands on the thigh or reaching down to the mat. Left toes are curled back towards you. And then coming up, and you can go back into the lunge, or if you'd like to go a little bit further, let's see if we can bend this right leg, grab a hold of the foot, perhaps drawing that heel towards the buttock. Breathing into the heart space. Gentle smile on your lips. Good. And release. Now from here, we'll press onto the thigh and we're going to come up to stand and just give the legs a little bit of a shake. Coming into Tadasana. Hands back over the heart. You might like to close the eyes. A few conscious breaths into the heart. Your gaze is also directed down towards the heart, the home of Atman, our true essential self. A part of us that is eternal, that does not die, is not born, does not die. All right, let's release the hands down, coming back to our chant. Inhale. Ma aham. Four more. Ma aham. Ma aham. If you'd like to come onto the tiptoes for the last two, please feel free to do so. Ma aham. Last one. Ma Now drop the chant. Inhale, let's take the arms up. Exhale, bring your hands down to your heart. Breathe in, take the arms forward. Breathe out, back to the heart. Inhale, pressing against an imaginary wall. Back to the heart. Inhale. And exhale. So let's do two more of these. Breathe in. Breathe out. In front. Back to the heart. Hands wide. To the heart. Arms up. Last one. Turning the palms forward, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Keep going. One. Release. All right, we're going to work with a flowing sequence now involving chair, Utkatasana, and Uttanasana, our forward fold. Again, I think all of you have done this with me, but feel free to watch if you're not 100% sure. So we start off in Tadasana, exhale all breath, and then breathing in, taking the arms above the hip, palms are facing each other. As we breathe out, we're sitting into our imaginary chair. See if you can lift your toes up here. Good. Holding here as we inhale. And as we exhale, we tip forward. So legs can stay bent or straighten. We lift up halfway as we inhale. Exhale, fold down. Coming back into chair. Standing all the way up, palms together. And exhale. So let's do 4 more of these. Breathing in, arms up. Into our chair. See if you can lift your toes. Inhale. Exhale, fold forward. So legs bent or straight. Lift up halfway. And fold. Back into chair. Straightening the legs. And exhale. Link the movement with your breath. Inhale. Exhale. Coming forward, legs bent or straight. Lift up halfway and fold. Back into chair. Coming up. Exhale. Lift up halfway and inhale. Exhale. Last one without my voice. Breath 2. All right, we've got 2 more little sequences, then we're going to come down to our mats. So both of these are Thich Nhat Hanh's mindful movements. The first one is his squat. So the heels are touching, the toes are wide, hands are onto our hips. As we inhale, we lift up onto the balls of the feet. And as we exhale, we stay on the balls of the feet and lower down, trying to keep the spine nice and straight. Inhale up onto the balls of the feet. Exhale down. Inhale all the way up. Exhale. You might just be coming to here. That's absolutely fine. Keep the shoulders soft. Breathe in, lifting up. Breathe out. There's a gentle smile on your lips. Inhale, lift up. Exhale. Let's do a few more if we can. And last one. Inhale, come up and lower the heels. All right, we'll take the legs a bit wider now for Thich Nhat Hanh's Mindful Warrior One variation. So we'll turn the left toes out, right toes in. So left hand is on the front thigh, right hand on the back thigh. And if you'd like to join with me, we'll add our chant as we're exhaling Ma Aham. So we'll do 5 of these. So we're turning to the left, exhale, breathing in. Ma aham. So 4 more. Ma aham. Ma aham. Ma aham. Last one. Ma aham. Take a breath. And then turning the other way. Exhale all breath. So breathing in. Ma aham. Oh. Ma aham. Ma aham. Ma aham. Last one. Ma aham. Take a breath. Just release. All right, we're going to grab our cushions or our pillows or our bolster, popping it across the mat. We're going to come into supported fish, Matsayasana. Any neck issues, grab a little pillow for the back of your head. So you can either have the legs straight, or some of you might like to also combine Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, knees out wide, lying back, arms might be overhead or on the body or out to the side. We're going to try and stay here for about 5 minutes, but please feel free to come out anytime if it becomes not enjoyable. See if you can just drop your gaze down towards your heart. Sending some conscious breaths into the heart space. Everything slow down, becoming a little quieter inside, allowing the props to support the upper back. Giving in, letting go. If we think back to the meditation we did at the beginning of this session, we can think of the person meditating on the bank of the river as our divine self, a symbol of our own Atman. And the person who walked to the river and met the person meditating, our human self, our manifested, embodied self, both are important whilst we're on this planet. We are here to learn so many important lessons, to experience so much during this incarnation. On this note, I would love to share with you a beautiful poem that I came across recently by Padraig Ó Tuama, an Irish theologian and writer. It's called The Facts of Life. That you were born and you will die. That you will sometimes love enough and sometimes not. That you will lie, if only to yourself. That you will get tired. That you will learn most from the situations you did not choose. That there will be some things that move you more than you can say. That you will live. That you must be loved. That you will avoid questions most urgently in need of your attention. That you began as the fusion of a sperm and an egg, of two people who once were strangers and may well still be. That life isn't fair. That life is sometimes good and sometimes even better than good. That life is often not so good. That life is real, and if you can survive it, well, survive it well, with love and art and meaning given where meaning's scarce. That you will learn to live with regret. That you will learn to live with respect. That the structures that constrict you may not be permanently constricting. That you will probably be okay. That you must accept change before you die, but you will die anyway. So you might as well live, and you might as well love. You might as well love. You might as well love. So just a few more breaths here. If you're still in fish, but when you've had enough, we will slowly move into supported child pose. So just in your own time, you can place the props between your inner thighs and lean forward over the support, arms forward, your head to one side. Your head is turned to one side. Gently now turn it the other way. So we're going to work in a moment with our second meditation, variation of a loving kindness meditation. I think some of you will have done this with me before, but it's one that we could probably do every day. um, if you're quite low in energy, feel free to do this lying down and we'll go straight into a short Shavasana. Otherwise, feel free over the next few breaths to come to sit, find a comfortable seat. Again, you might, actually, we'll chant Ma Aham once more. So either lying down or in a seated position, bring the hands over the heart. And just take your time, there's no hurry. And this time, as we chant, we'll raise the arms out to the side, we'll chant the hands back to the heart, and we'll work with this 5 times. As we're chanting, you might again like to visualize that person meditating by the river as a symbol for your own divine self. So let's exhale all breath and then breathing in. Ma aham. Ma aham. Ma aham. Ma aham. Last one. Ma aham. So just releasing your arms down now. Might like to sigh the breath away. And in this practice, we're going to send loving kindness to ourselves at different ages. So firstly, I invite you now to picture yourself as a 30-minute-old self, a little tiny newborn baby. And I invite you to send loving kindness and care to this half-hour-old baby. And then picturing yourself as a 2-year-old little toddler and sending loving kindness and care to this 2-year-old little self. Now you are 5. And again, the invitation is to send loving kindness to this beautiful little 5-year-old child. 10 years old now. Picture yourself as a curious, playful 10-year-old and send all the love and care in the world to this 10-year-old you. 20 years old now. See yourself as a 20-year-old and wrap this 20-year-old self in love and warmth and care and understanding. 30 years old, sending loving kindness and care to yourself as a 30-year-old. Now picture yourself as a 40-year-old and send this 40-year-old all the love and care and warmth and kindness in the world. Now envisioning yourself as a 50-year-old, whether in the past or future, those of you who are younger, and send this 50-year-old you endless bundles of love and care and understanding. 60 years old, love, tenderness, warmth. 70 years old. See yourself as a 70-year-old and send this self love, love, love. Finally, imagining yourself in your 80s and send this beautiful being who has lived and loved and lost and won, been wounded and hurt and loved and kept going and going, all the love and warmth and care and gentleness you can imagine. You might like to bring your hands back now over your heart. Take a few conscious breaths into and out of your heart. And if you're in a seated position, I invite you now to lie down just for a short relaxation, offering your whole self now to Mother Earth, the ground reaching up to hold you, support you, noticing what's going on in your heart, any feelings, perhaps saying to yourselves, I love you and I am listening. And then you might like to ponder the question, who is listening? Feel free to remain lying down if you're happy here and you have the time to do so. Otherwise, I invite you now just to start deepening the breath. Bringing a little bit of movement into your fingers and toes. Might like to have a stretch. And you might like to roll over to one side and just curl up into a little ball. Hug your knees in. So to close, I'd like to offer a really good question that we can ask ourselves at any time. Am I looking at life through human eyes or divine eyes or spirit eyes? Am I looking at life through human eyes or divine eyes? There's no right or wrong answer, but this question is the choice we always have in every moment. Am I identifying with the person who is walking towards the river, or am I identifying with the person who was actually sitting at the river in meditation? So when you feel ready, let's come on up to sit. Just taking your arms out to the side. Breathing in, raising the arms up. And bringing the hands down to the heart. Bowing the head. Namaste. Thank you. Enjoy the beautiful sunshine today and this week. And please let me know if you would be interested in yoga on Cup Day. In the email yesterday, I said I'd be happy to do it if I've got if there's 6 of you. No problems if not. I've only got one person on the list at the moment. So if you would like to do it that day, let me know and we'll go ahead if there's enough people. See you next week, if not before. Love to you all. Bye.